Hi, Mary. Go ahead.
Hi, thank you. Our latest poll over the weekend showed that the president has a 53% approval rating, which is, of course, lower than any recent past president, except for President Trump. Just 52% approve of his handling of the economy. Why do you think that is?
Well, first I would say there were a bunch of polls over the weekend. I know you're asking about yours specifically, but there are also some very positive signs about the American public's view of the president's job he's doing, including his response to COVID and the pandemic, something that's on the minds of the majority of the American public. According to the NBC poll, it was 69%, CBS 65%, ABC 64% approval. I will also note, per our earlier discussion, that according to the ABC poll, 58% of the public approved of raising corporate tax rates. But the bottom line is the president. These polls show what we have long known, that the president came into office at one of the most divisive moments in modern American history. And the president's focus is on fulfilling his promise to bring the country together. So in large part on delivering on the things the American people were elected him to do, which we have seen broad approval for: getting the pandemic under control, turning our economy around, especially for working families and the middle class. So we know that bringing the country together, that getting through what is a height of divisiveness in our country is going to take some time, and that certainly we see is reflected in the polls.
So when you do look at these numbers, what lessons do you take away, if any, in terms of how you may approach the next 100 days?
Well, the president would be the first to tell you we have a lot of work left to do to get the virus under control, despite the fact that 2/3 of the public in all of these polls support his approach and support the progress that's been made to get our economy up and running. There's still 10 million people out of work, and people aren't feeling satisfied by that. And we still need to keep our heads down and keep pushing forward to get the American Jobs Plan passed and ultimately the American Families Plan passed. But also he knows that he needs to continue to work at bringing the country together. And he will always be open to bipartisanship. He will always have an open door in the Oval Office to members of Congress of different viewpoints to get work done for the American people. And he certainly believes that's what people elected him to do.
And on the speech on Wednesday, obviously your first joint address is a big moment for any new president, but this is not going to be a joint address like we've seen before because of the pandemic. A lot of the pomp and circumstance won't be there. The audience will be scaled down, no guests, etc. How is the president modifying his approach to the speech to sort of accommodate these unusual circumstances?
You're right, and it will look very different for people who are watching at home, who are used to seeing, they may not even know they're used to seeing this, right? But they're used to seeing a full Senate chamber, full House and Senate, full members of Congress filling. They're used to seeing guests for all of these members of Congress. They're used to seeing, which is always an important part of the speech, a First Lady's box that's full of incredible people who are inspiring, have inspiring stories, and the president references in his speech, and that's tradition as well. And none of that will be a part of the speech in the same way that people have seen in the past. So there's certainly an adjustment to how he'll speak to the audience, speaking directly to the American people at home. That's always a part of it, but even more so to not having all of these incredible stories, inspiring stories that are typically a part of any president's joint session or a State of the Union address. So it will look different, but from his vantage point, it still is an opportunity to speak directly to the American people about the progress that's been made, the work that's still ahead, his new proposals for an American Families Plan, and some of the priorities that remain central to his presidency, and that hasn't changed.